How does her arm bend like that? I don't know, but it's pretty good.
At a glance, though, it looks like it's correct, which is all I'm going for.
Yeah.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate, oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Diller.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And let's get ready to rumble! Am I doing the right sport?
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
This is the Super Bowl pregame show, hosted by yours truly, the Superhero Slate podcast. I would suggest if you're here for insightful football insights and trivia and statistics about the game of football, you're not going to find it here.
Yeah, nope. You came to the wrong show. We're sorry.
As we say in every intro, we talk about everything in between. We're talking about everything in between the game of the Super Bowl. So all of the commercials and all the trailers.
Between kickoff, start off, and the Masked Singer Season 3 premiere, we got you covered.
Oh, is that happening right after the Super Bowl?
It in fact is. Yep.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I always forget that like one of the big bonuses of a network getting the Super Bowl contract is they get all of those viewers to funnel in like right after the game to whatever show that they're trying to push. I remember there's been like lots of pilots that are put right after to be like, oh, this show will take off as long as we get like even 10% of the Super Bowl audience to watch it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's always funny to see the strategy there, you know.
What's interesting is, I watched the Masked Singer seasons 1 and 2. And season 1, I just kind of was like, looks interesting. I'll check it out kind of thing. And it was fun to watch with people. And then I found my coworkers were watching it. So, it's water cooler talk, Mike, if we had a water cooler. But it's interesting that season 2 just ended not hardly a month ago. So they're like really cranking these shows out. But I mean, what really is at stake here? What kind of production value do they need? Get 4 judges and people in costumes.
Yeah, I think costume. I'm sure the costume designers have a guild or a union, and they're probably just ecstatic that costumes are on the air again. Extravagant, very imaginative costumes. So good for them.
I'm waiting for it to pull some superhero names in, some superhero actors into this show because they keep getting bigger. Season 2 had bigger names. Wayne Brady won season 2. Spoiler alert, but I'm excited to see what's going on.
Yeah, but this is our pregame show, so we're going to talk about some trailers that we might expect to see during the game, talk about what commercials we think we're going to see, maybe what tropes normally pop up during the game, and of course we always like to talk about snacks. This is just a big pop culture media night, which is nuts since it's all anchored around football. So I thought we would just get this out of the way. We'll do our one football thing. I don't really know anything about the teams, but I do know who's playing, which is the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. So, Chris, I mean, it helps even if you aren't invested. It helps to at least have a team to root for because it kind of anchors you to the couch a little bit more than usual. So is there a particular team that you're rooting for? Do you think anyone has an advantage? I mean, we're not the people to ask.
This is real Sophie's choice this year for me, Mike. Neither of these have brand recognition for me, if I could be honest. I mean, if anything, we get a better show when we take opposing sides, Mike. So how about we take the teams that are closest to us?
Oh, okay.
I'm closer to Kansas City, and you're closer to San Francisco.
That's perfect. My favorite kind of statistical website out there is 538, and they do a lot of polling, and they analyze a lot of data to kind of give you a mathematical answer to a lot of questions out there. So they're pretty heavy on politics right now, but they also do sports because I believe ESPN owns the website, which is like a subsidiary of Disney, which is always crazy to think about. So I was originally going to go for the Kansas City Chiefs just because I know so little about football. So I know a little bit about the San Francisco 49ers. but that means I knew nothing about the Kansas City Chiefs at all. So I was like, oh, that means they must kind of be an underdog. I like rooting for the underdog. But then I went on 538 and I saw that the Kansas City Chiefs are actually favored to win. So I'll gladly root for the 49ers out here because it seems like they'll be the underdog on Sunday. So I like rooting for the underdog.
Yeah, I mean, I used, was it Odds Shark, I think is where I pulled mine from. And it's like Chiefs is up like 54.5 to like San Francisco, whatever the rest of that is, like 45.5 for them. So I'm like, it's like a presidential election right now, Mike. It's too close to call until the end of the.
I mean, at the end of the day, I can, even though I'm not invested in football, I can enjoy watching a thrilling game. So I hope there's a lot of scoring, a lot of turnovers, a lot of touchdowns, because, you know, that's what I want to watch in between my commercials, you know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Occasional fumbles, touchdowns, turnovers. Apple turnovers are my favorite kind of turnover in a football game.
Oh, that's a great segue to talk about snacks here real quick.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be out of town this weekend, but I will be arriving back to my home on Sunday to watch the game. But we're going to be eating a lot of like snacks and indulging in a lot of stuff on Friday and Saturday. So it might be a lighter snack day for me on the Super Bowl, but we're bringing kind of all of my favorite types of things on this trip. So I'm going to be having really delicious fondue, which is just melted cheese that you dip stuff into. I think I've talked about this before on the show.
Last week, yeah, because of the Captain America reference about do you fondue?
Oh, yeah. There's also this, I feel like it's a Midwest dish, just because I feel like whenever there's like a recipe that comes out of a magazine that makes no sense, like the Midwest loves it, and that's veggie pizza, which is not pizza with vegetables on it. It's like you bake croissants flatly, like from a tube, and that's kind of like your crust.
It's like a veggie tray on a croissant, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Then there's kind of like a cream cheese spread that has like a ranch flavoring in it.
If it's ranch, it's Midwestern. You know this.
Yeah, and then you just put like kind of these raw diced up vegetables on it. It's actually really good. So we'll be bringing some of that, and I've actually had that at Super Bowl parties before because I really like it. So I think there's going to be some pozole this weekend too, which is a delicious Mexican soup. I haven't traditionally had it for the Super Bowl, but if anybody knows how to whip any of that stuff up, soups can still be good on the Super Bowl. It doesn't have to be finger foods. But, Chris, I know you're gearing up over at your place. You got like an air fryer now. You got an Instant Pot. You're ready to just crank out snacks at a moment's notice.
I mean, I'm ready. We're hosting this year. It goes back and forth for that. So my in-laws are coming over, and I've been testing this week different foods to cook in this brand new air fryer, and I have I wouldn't say perfected, but I've got my wings down to an art, Mike. My chicken wings. The trick here is just to cook them in there so they're all cooked evenly, and then you douse them in the sauce when they get out of the cooker.
Ooh, I love dousing food. Dousing is just such a good verb when it comes to something you eat.
Yeah, it's not quite drowning, but you're almost there. I also tried yesterday some shrimp. Air frying some like coconut style shrimp.
Oh, okay.
That came out really well. It's a little drier. I need to use the panko instead of regular breadcrumbs, if you know the difference. But that was my fault. I was using what I had to test this out. Right. I'm not gonna eat undercooked food. We got pigs in a blanket coming out, Mike. You know,
solid choice.
Yeah, I believe there will be some sort of chips and dip, but I mean, last time we made too much stuff, so I think we're gonna scale back a little bit, and then if worst case scenario, we'll order pizza. So
yeah, in my experience, even though I love snacks at Super Bowls, they typically don't carry over very well. Usually I'm gorging myself on the day, so I don't even want to look at the leftovers the next day, especially since the next day is a Monday, usually the guilt-eating day of trying to undo what you did before. So cook appropriately.
Yeah. Plan ahead. Less is more in some situations. I'll tell you that right now. But I'm very excited for snacks. We all know that.
Yeah. However, but I was going to say, I guess before we jump into the show, I just wanted to remind everybody, since you might be seeing this episode in your newsfeed before our normal Sunday episode, we will be recording again, like we usually do every week, hot off the post-game show of the Super Bowl. So stay tuned, stay subscribed, and come back, and we'll be talking about all of these trailers that premiered over the night, see how many of the predictions we got right. So stay tuned.
Yes, and just trailers and not trailers, but commercials in general. Speaking of commercials, Mike, did you know this year, record high for commercial spots on national television?
Ooh.
$5.6 million per 30 seconds.
Wow, that is intense. I've started to hear this term out there called the maybe the untouchables or the unreachables. Like they're starting to call like this new generation coming up, like the Gen Zers, the millennials, the unreachables, just because they don't watch traditional commercials. You got to get them any other way you can. So the last vestige of eyeballs out there in normal broadcast TV, like pretty much is the Super Bowl. So I got to imagine as kind of like the supply of eyes gets scarcer and scarcer, the price for these 30-second spots are just going to keep going up.
Yeah, exactly. Until my guess is though we're going to hit a bubble on this, Mike, because we'll talk about some trailers later. But like is it just easier enough to put it on the internet during the Super Bowl because most people are going to rewatch things there?
Yeah, or just put it on the internet like way before the Super Bowl. There's a commercial that Bryan Cranston is starring in, parodying a very famous movie. I won't say the movie so you can kind of be surprised, but it keeps auto-playing in my Instagram feed. And if you look at the description under the video, it says, here it is, our Super Bowl ad is now live. And I'm like, I saw this on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch this yet. Like, I don't have a chip in my hand. I'm like, just going to the bathroom right now.
We want to go spoiler-free into the Super Bowl, Mike. That's our only goal here.
Yeah, so this is like the most first world problem ever. Like, please advertise your multi-million-dollar commercial to me appropriately. Yeah. But I don't know. What are you gonna do, man?
Right, $5.6 million just to air it, not even produce these commercials, Mike. That's the worst part. Just to put that in reference here, the movie Moonlight was in the Oscars last year, right, or 2 years ago. Only cost $1.2 million to make. You can make 5 Moonlights for the cost it takes to make a commercial.
And probably throw in maybe 1 or 2 other Moonlights just to produce said commercial.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite the conundrum. But I do want to go ahead and use this opportunity. If you are in Southern Indiana, my voice is in 3 commercials this year on the local network for Super Bowl. So I've hit my dream. My dream was to make a commercial in the Super Bowl. We have 6 airing, and I'm in 3 of them.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong. This is like a magnetic wave fitness product, right?
Yes, fitness for humans, horses, and animals. Leans into it's like an over-the-counter massage device is what it essentially comes down to. So yes.
And just to clarify, you're not trying to walk onto Shark Tank here. This is for the company you work for, correctly?
That is correct. Yep.
I didn't want people to start. Oh, if Chris is successful enough, he'll abandon the podcast to go off as an entrepreneur.
No. Well, the funny part is that I was recording these voices, and I don't just use my podcast voice, right, for everything, or my daily voice. I was trying to throw in some very dramatic tones, and he's
trying to zhuzh it up.
Yeah, and they were like, "Who did this voiceover?" I'm like, "Well, that was me." Like, there's no way. I'm like, we record a podcast weekly. I can throw my voice if I need to.
Man, the second this commercial airs on your resume, you can put commercial voice actor.
Exactly. Super Bowl spots with a little asterisk there. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that. So if you're in the Louisville, Southern Indiana area, keep your eye on that on Fox. 8:19 p.m. is our Super Bowl spot. So check the rest out throughout the day. On that note, Mike, I will tell you, we talk about people not wanting to spend $5.6 million per movie, and there are 2 companies very, very notorious for not doing Super Bowl spots, and they have also opted to sit out this year as well, and I'm talking about Warner Brothers and Sony Pictures, which, really, what did Sony have? Were they going to give us a Super Bowl Morbius trailer? I don't think so. Venom 2 has an opportunity for a tease, but I think they'd rather save that for the internet because that's hopefully, knock on wood, Mike, R-rated, right? But I'm really surprised Wonder Woman isn't taking an opportunity to be featured here with her big, metal winged outfit that could probably be like a football gear.
Yeah. I'm doing my best not to just be hyper stereotypical with, a woman starring in a movie. just because it's probably not the best thing to be so reductive. But I feel like you could look at it either way. Like, oh, this is a very attractive woman in a trailer. Put it in front of a football game. Everyone will watch it. Or it's like, oh no, it's a movie for women. Don't advertise on the Super Bowl. I would imagine none of those are the case, and it's just they're just sitting out, maybe saving their money for who knows, Comic-Con. Maybe does this come out before Comic-Con?
It comes out in
actually?
June. I mean,
it'll
be here before we know it.
Yeah, so maybe they're just saving all of their money for a different sort of push. But the first Wonder Woman made plenty of money, so I don't think they need the Super Bowl spot.
But if they want to use the Mandalorian, that guy in that who's the villain in Wonder Woman, like this is a good time to piggyback off that Disney Plus fame. You know, like, look, you like the Mandalorian? Well, our guy's here.
Pedro Pascal trying to get that facial recognition out there.
Yeah. That's the thing we gotta do. When the next Wonder Woman trailer comes out, we will Photoshop his helmet over him in every frame of the video and move it along with it, so we'll know what it's like.
It'll be the superhero slate cut.
Yeah, exactly. Release it. I say, release it. But that's about all I can. I mean, those are the two biggest studios I think that are sitting out right now. The rest come from a multitude of studios, including Disney, of course, Universal, and Paramount. So we're going to go through those. And I think the first biggest thing, what have we seen every Super Bowl for the past 10 years, Mike?
We always get that Marvel trailer.
We get a Marvel trailer. I will tell you, one of my favorite memories, I was at my brother and sister-in-law's in 2012. They were not my brother and sister-in-law then. I had no relation other than the fact that I was just friends with them for like 20 years at this point. And that first Avengers trailer came on, and I'm just glued, right? It's got the Avengers for the first time. They're fighting the Chitauri coming out of the hole. The song in the background is 9 Inch Nails. We're in this together, which, you know, they're one of my favorite bands. I was in fucking nerd heaven for a good 30 seconds here. And then I also remember the next year it was Iron Man 3 with his quote-unquote extended look, where it's just Robert Downey Jr. looking into the camera for a very long time. And I was like,
oh, yeah, I remember that.
I was like, is this an indication of how this movie is going to go? And it kind of was. So this year we're getting the Black Widow. I'm pretty sure we're getting a Black Widow trailer. I don't think tickets will be on sale yet, but I'm hoping to see them pull out some footage we haven't seen yet. Right?
Yeah. Like you said, these are probably going to be 30-second trailers. They'll be listed on YouTube that night or possibly the next day as like a Super Bowl trailer or big game spot. Who knows? Some of these trailers also have extended versions if you go online and watch them. So yeah, you got to bring new footage, or you're basically wasting your money in my mind. So in my little prediction section, I have a prediction for this trailer specifically.
Specifically for this trailer, and one of my predictions, again, my prediction is always like they use 30 seconds to push you to watch the longer version online because it's much cheaper that way. So I think this, if any movie is going to do it, it's definitely going to be Black Widow and Marvel's chance here. But we'll talk about that later. Another movie that's actually releasing its trailer Friday, but then also putting it in the Super Bowl on Sunday is Fast 9, Mike. Is there this many movies in this franchise now? Have I missed every movie between Fast 1 and 9 now?
Yeah, I guess you have, man.
So what's the premise? What's going on with this? Are you excited for this? I mean, I heard they got better after the fifth one.
I mean, these just aren't for me. Like, I know people are like, turn your brain off and watch these. That trick just doesn't work on this franchise, but it is just kind of curious to see how they up the ante. So since this is one we're expected to see, I do have a prediction in mind for this one as well. So stay tuned for my Black Widow and Fast 9 predictions. But it's kind of sad that this is going to drop on Friday because, I mean, the internet's going to have all day to talk about it. And then when it crops back up on Sunday, is Twitter really going to sink their teeth into it during the game? Are people going to be retweeting the trailer? Unless they do something a little unconventional and they release maybe the teaser trailer on Friday and then like a whole full-fledged trailer on Sunday.
That's expensive.
Yeah, it is. But these movies make a lot of money though, so they might be able to afford it.
It's true. And then they're still going. I mean, they had a spin-off this year, right? Hobbs and Shaw. So technically this is like the 10th movie in the franchise at this point. And that's just wild. I mean, why would you release it early? Why would you ruin any big reveals, any big talking points on Sunday? I don't know. Maybe they're concerned about, the competition, which we'll talk about below. But I don't know.
I like how we just don't assume that the competition to all of these things is the football game itself.
No, it's not. It's not, Mike. Fun fact. I'm gonna throw another fun fact in here. The Tennessee Titans, who almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs, right? They use one of our machines. They have our equipment that we sell.
Hey, there you go. You got to get your office to sponsor this podcast.
No, they won't do that. But we almost. I mean, that would have been a really good tie-in for the Super Bowl. But yeah. One of the shows, Pixar's next big movie, Soul, is rumored to have a trailer this weekend. I believe they've had a little teaser so far, right? It's about music.
It's a jazz musician kind of losing his life, turning into a soul. Feels very Inside Out-esque. But we've mentioned this on the show before. As well made as Pixar movies can be, usually the trailers are just really, really bad. I don't know what it is. I don't know what their methodology is for cutting a trailer, if they do it in-house or if they send it to somebody else or if they're just trying to reach a different market. But I feel like I've never watched a Pixar trailer and have been excited and ecstatic. So maybe this is the year to change it.
I really do like Inside Out. I mean, I really do. And the music gets me every time. But that trailer did not make me want to see that movie at all. I was like, why would anyone go watch this stupid thing with Amy Poehler voicing the main character? But it's a really good movie.
Yeah. I love Amy Poehler, but the trailers usually aren't the best selling tool for Pixar.
Exactly. And this is one of those things, have you ever seen that meme where it's like Toy Story's like, what if toys had feelings? And Wally's like, what if robots had feelings? And then Inside Out was like, what if feelings had feelings? And this was what if, music had feelings, probably. So
what if ghosts had feelings?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But either way, that's what Soul's going to be. And that's November release. And, that's a November release. That does make me kind of want to speculate here, Mike. Are we going to get is it Eternals? Yes, the Eternals trailer. I was like, am I calling them the right thing?
You call it. You know more about them than I do.
I've called them Immortals, and I'm like, that's not it. So.
I mean, a teaser trailer that would be like the perfect opportunity.
It's Kumail, isn't it?
Teaser trailer,
shirtless.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Because I mean, Black Widow. I personally think it's just going to be a 30-second spot since we just got a trailer not too long ago. But
during a football game.
I could see the Eternals also just being like a 30-second spot. Maybe that's how Marvel and Disney looked at it. They're like, hey, we're going to do 2 live-action trailers, 2 30-second spots.
Well,
let's go.
I mean, the Eternals has so many big names, right? Like, 2 of the Stark kids from Game of Thrones, Angelina Jolie, Selma Hayek, Kumail Nanjiani. Like, they have all these big names and huge, fascinating-looking, god creatures in this, right? The Celestials. So I could see like a highlight reel kind of thing.
Yeah, and you know what? It's strategically a good idea too, because you're introducing a whole new group of people that even less consumers have heard of. I mean, I would argue that more people knew about the Guardians of the Galaxy when they came out as compared to the Eternals. So this would be a good idea to introduce pretty much the entire world to the Eternals for at least 30 seconds. And then maybe in a month or two after Black Widow comes out or whatever
with Black Widow, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the next big property is at Disney, we'll get that full-fledged Eternals trailer.
Yeah. There's an opportunity here. But in the meantime, in March, we have the next Disney animated movie, right? With Onward, the Tom Holland and Chris Pratt voiced vehicle here, where what if your dad is just legs? Kind of
just legs. My dad is legs.
Surprise, your dad's legs. It's in a fantasy world. Their dad's dead. They can bring him back for a day with this magical staff. It looks like it's interrupted halfway through, and lo and behold, these two, are they like trolls or ogres or creatures of this world need to have an adventure to bring him back to life.
Now, I will have to contradict myself. This is the first time a Pixar trailer has ever surprised me, because I did enjoy the reveal of just like, oh, wow, this movie's about legs. This is going to be really funny. So, yeah, I imagine a trailer with a little bit more footage. The billboards for Onward have started to come up around town, so I could see the trailer possibly having a ticket push, say like, oh, go get your tickets now. Well, a little bit of immediacy to it.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't think it was Pixar because it was so funny. I thought this was a straight Disney.
Yeah, it does seem like a slight departure. Maybe Disney is just trying to, Pixar, maybe they're just trying to flex a little bit, trying to stretch, reach a larger market. Who knows?
Well, I don't know much about Soul, but I will tell you, if you have Chris Pratt and Tom Holland, you better make it funny. And
Yep.
you don't make it a serious trailer. So I do enjoy the hissing unicorns. I think they're funny because they're like raccoons. So I want to see this world. I want to visit it in March. Another trailer that's dropped, I'm pretty sure today, before the Super Bowl, because it's scared everybody else, is Sonic the Hedgehog, Mike. We're definitely going to get a spot for it. I think that's the spot that dropped today. It's our Super Bowl spot for Sonic the Hedgehog. Are you excited? Are you putting on your red shoes and running to the theater to watch Sonic the Hedgehog on Valentine's Day?
I mean, my opinion has not changed on Sonic.
You're so excited, yeah.
Even before the character design. We both agree. I don't think a character design can save this movie. I do watch the YouTube channel Game Grumps every once in a while, and sometimes they'll bring on celebrity guests to play a video game with them. And they brought on Ben Schwartz, the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog, onto the show, and it was just kind of nice. Ben Schwartz, he's a cool guy. He's really funny. I've liked the stuff that he's been in, so I will at the very least enjoy hearing Ben Schwartz as Sonic.
Well, Ben Schwartz was also in the MODOK show we talked about last week as one of the voices. So I mean, he's doing I saw this really random theory, tangent on Sonic here, that the original design of Sonic was that he was like an alternate universe of the James Marsden character. So he looked like James Marsden. That's why he had that human look and teeth approach to him.
Oh, God, that is a bizarre idea.
Universes were connected or parallel like that.
Oh, my God, that's an awful idea.
yeah, if you think Sonic couldn't get any worse, here's what we thought was going to happen. I'm excited to see Jim Carrey's Robotic, though. I'll give him that.
One last Ben Schwartz tidbit in case I forget to put it in the news episode, which is probably where it belongs normally. He actually did some punch-up on the Rise of the Skywalker movie. He said that I guess he's buddy with J.J. Abrams, and he asked him to kind of look over the script and add some jokes in kind of ADR off screen. He didn't particularly say which jokes he had in there, but he said he had 4 jokes in the movie, so I don't know if that's going to change anybody's opinion about the movie for good or for worse, but Ben Schwartz has his DNA on that movie.
That is he's now complicit in this movie. Was he the voice? Did he do something with D.O.? Is that what he was doing? They like to get comedians to voice the droids or do stuff with the droids. So
who knows?
Yep. I started watching the cartoon version of Mulan this week, and I dishonor on you, dishonor on your family, dishonor on your cow. I now understand this reference. I just never kind of gloss over it. But the live action Mulan is rumored to have a trailer this weekend as well. This is turning out to be quite the different live action version of its animated thing. I think people really, really, really like the music to Mulan, and they're kind of disappointed that they're not singing in this movie, but it'll be instrumental. But I don't know how you feel about Mulan, Mike.
I mean, I'm not trying to get too worldly right now, but China for the last couple months to a year has kind of been under a really scrutinous spotlight, and some good things, some not so good things have kind of been coming out of that country. And this is a very much China forward movie, and we all know Disney is trying to play nice with that very large market so it can make as much money as possible on its box office return. So I don't know, I kind of just have a sour light on the politics of China, not the people of China. I'm just saying, like, the policies over there. And I don't know. I know it doesn't intertwine as much. It's still very much an American film, but just overall, I'm just kind of like, I'm always soured on these live action Disney movies, and all of this extra stuff doesn't necessarily help me.
I mean, I don't see the connection, but I mean, I also live in a Disney world where we don't care about outside of Disney or Marvel things here, so I think it's interesting. It's more like literally a war movie, but they were like, we can't have a talking dragon, it's too weird. But then they had this lady doing magic, and I'm like,
yeah, there's like a flying witch in it.
What? Yeah. Well, you can't have the dragon, but you can have the flying witch. Disappointment all around, Mike. Disappointment all around. Surprise hit of I think 2 years ago. A Quiet Place, the sequel, Quiet Place 2, is hitting this year. I think in a couple months, isn't it? So the sequel is gonna have a trailer during Super Bowl, and I'm interested to kind of revisit this world a little bit.
Yeah, I think they had a teaser trailer or some sort of trailer a few weeks ago. I don't know how long the trailer was because I think I avoided it. Not because I loved the first movie, but I was just trying to, stay dark on it, not know too much about it, just enjoy it a little bit more. But it sounds like I'm not going to be able to avoid it. But I'm kind of curious where it will go. So it seems like in 30 seconds, hopefully they won't give too much away. So looking forward to where this one takes us.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to, from what I've heard is that this is going to go forward past the first movie, but also revisit these aliens like taking over the world kind of deal. And I get, to be completely honest, people are going to crucify me online, but I get a lot of Tremors vibes from that first movie. Like, you can't make noise and these creatures will get you out of nowhere kind of deal. I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad vibe. It's just I miss Tremors, Mike.
Yeah, I actually we have a really close friend out here who professionally works in the audio space for film and television. And the first thing I did when we left this movie, for the next time I saw him, I asked him what he thought about the film, and he loved it just for the pure sake of just the sound design in the movie. So yeah, it's just a unique experience going into that movie, and I will definitely be checking out the second one in theaters because that was a fun communal experience to be in a theater with a bunch of people. Just don't bring any loud snacks because they're even louder when the theater is almost dead silent.
You know what you ought to bring? You remember those little plastic bags or like foil bags, and they have like a thing inside. You break it, and they start swelling up, and then they pop really loudly.
What on earth are you talking about?
Yeah, like those little foil bags, right? They're closed. Inside, like something. It's like kind of like salt and vinegar, is what I feel. And you pop it, and they start swelling, and they just essentially just pop. That would be fantastic to have in the theater.
I think I'll go on eBay and try to find one of those discontinued Sunchip bags that were basically made from aluminum foil, the loudest things on the planet.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, you just pop right there in the middle of the theater. People will probably scream like a little girl. Maybe on your second showing. Don't do it on the first one, but it's an opportunity. SpongeBob SquarePants is doing another movie. I don't know what this one's called. I don't know why. I didn't think these movies were making them any money.
I had this weird moment where Amazon Prime, for a while, just had the first 2 seasons of SpongeBob, and then they added a couple more. I think maybe they have the first 5 or 6 seasons on Amazon Prime. So I went back and, feeling nostalgic, and I was watching some of them. And I started to realize I kind of stopped watching SpongeBob after partway into season 3. So I only know a very small percentage of SpongeBob at this point. I've never seen any of the movies. But one thing that is cool, the animation style for this new SpongeBob SquarePants movie is different. Like, the aesthetic is very unique. It has a totally different look to it. So that's cool that at least they're trying to innovate there.
Well, the last one was a superhero one, and I think they had live action portions of it or something like that.
Yeah, I think they had live action portions in the first one too, because that's where that giant David Hasselhoff prop that you see every once in a while on the internet
had the humans, right? But the second one, they did 3D lifelike models of superhero SpongeBob on land kind of deal, not just oh hey, here's the regular version. But apparently it's called Sponge on the Run.
All right.
I don't know.
Does he lose Gary or something? I thought maybe I saw the trailer and he's trying to find Gary. Who knows? I don't know. I probably won't see this in theaters, but if it pops up on Netflix or something like that, I'll give it a watch.
To tie this back to our first trailer, Scarlett Johansson voiced the princess in the first movie who was helping SpongeBob go get whatever he was looking for, the golden spatula, probably. So sure. She came from modest beginnings, Mike. Modest beginnings. Voicing.
You can say whatever you want. I'll believe you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Top Gun Maverick, everyone's really clamoring for this, is taking the pre-game spot, the cheaper of the movie trailer spots. I have no interest in this movie at all, even though we sat in that panel at Comic-Con, Mike.
Yeah, we got to see the trailer before the rest of the world when we went to Comic-Con, and we snuck into Hall H before it got too crazy for that whole weekend. So yeah, I think I got as much hype extracted from the franchise as possible. I wasn't a huge Top Gun guy growing up, so all right, Top Gun Maverick, sure, whatever.
Yeah, it's about his kid and Goose's kid, and Goose's kid is played by that annoying guy who played Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four reboot. And I'm just I don't like you anyway, so didn't help it. Lastly, of the expected trailers here, Minions: The Rise of Gru. Is this another prequel to the Minions franchise?
I never saw the Minions, the first one. It made a bunch of money. I think it made more money than the Despicable Me movies, possibly, or it was very close tie. So this one could possibly make more money. They're throwing Gru in there. I mean, I love Steve Carell. I think that guy is hilarious. He's a genius. I love The Office. But I do not understand where he came up with that voice for Gru. It just is so grating to me. It's like nails on a chalkboard. So it's so hard for me to watch any sort of Gru in Despicable Me because it's just like, why did you choose that voice? I'm glad you're getting paid, man. Sure, but I don't understand it.
I hate Minions memes, Mike. That is like the bane of my existence, right? But I love the idea of the first Minions movie. I did watch it. They are completely idiotic henchmen. Like, they are completely incompetent to where, like, they end up getting their owner or their evil person killed every time, which is hilarious to me. But I also don't like they speak some sort of broken Portuguese either. Like, I don't know what's happening, but this looks like to be a sequel to the prequel, but still a prequel to the first one.
Sure.
This is the Rogue One of the Minions franchise, Mike. Right there in the middle of things. So
I will give them one prop is the animation is usually really, really solid. The visuals have never been the problem.
Illumination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they also did Sing, I believe, and a couple other ones.
Secret Life of Pets and
Did they do the one that's Will Smith as a pigeon?
No,
Spy?
I think that was Sky. I think that was Skydance, possibly.
Okay. Skynet?
Sure, Skynet.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, that's the list of trailers I got, Mike. I can't think of anything else. You got anything else off the top of your head?
No, not off the top of my head. Nothing I've heard of. Because, like I said, that Bryan Cranston commercial, I don't even know what the commercial is for because I keep scrolling past it. I know there's supposed to be a Little Caesars commercial from Rainn Wilson, but I don't really know what the premise of it is. So, props to Little Caesars for being able to afford a commercial on their cheap-ass pizza. But
Pizza. $5 hot and ready's, Mike, all day long. The only one I didn't include in here that might have an opportunity, but I doubt it, is, in fact, New Mutants. I don't think they're going to spend that kind of money on it. So,
oh god, that would be shocking.
that might be one that they just put online later and say, hey, did you catch our Super Bowl spot? Me neither. So there it is. But I think that's it. I think that's all we got, Mike. Now we want to get into something that we haven't done before, because usually we're recording this on Sunday, literally right before the game. Is some predictions, and we call them Mike's predictions and Chris's corner, because I like alliteration.
Yeah, so I'll walk on over to your corner right now. So, Chris, give me your predictions. I'm looking at them right now, but for the audience, this is a podcast. It's an audio medium. So read them off here, explain them a little bit, and I'll see if I agree with any of them.
Okay, well, in worst case scenario, we will just swap back and forth, Mike, because I don't want to talk forever. So my first thing is, I've already seen this, but I mean, I kind of knew it was coming. It was a Rick and Morty commercial. I don't know what they're sponsoring. I don't know what they're doing. But knowing the zeitgeist of Rick and Morty and how most people, like, they take breaks, like long breaks between seasons, and then they just do a bunch of one-off commercials with the characters, I think it's a very interesting kind of thing where these characters have transcended their show to become fourth wall breaking characters. Yeah,
I've been avoiding a lot of Rick and Morty lately just because I'm waiting for the whole current season to be out so I can just binge it all. But I think they did something this week on the internet. I've seen Rick and Morty and like Pringles somehow crossing over.
Maybe that's the commercial.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the commercial or if maybe, I don't know, Pringles is probably owned by a larger subsidiary.
They did
maybe
a Burger
they're doing
King
a couple
commercial last year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they've done commercials before, and I think the guise here is that Justin Roiland will only do commercials if he has probably 99% creative control, and he gets to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, that guy's on a roll.
Yeah, because, I mean, they got they got renewed for 7 more seasons. They don't need Pringles money, so they're just doing it for the lulz, if you will.
He's doing it for the lifetime supply of Pringles.
Yeah, there you go.
And all these food companies are like, can you do for us what you did for the Szechuan sauce at McDonald's?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Like, we want to be so in demand we can't keep up with it. They're probably the reason they ran out of Popeye's chicken sandwiches, Mike. I just don't know it yet.
There you go.
Coming from a background of advertising commercials, I will tell you there's going to be some sort of romantic journey between a man and his truck.
You are so right. And I'll piggyback off of your man and his truck, because I kind of have a pseudo car related one where I feel like every year some sort of luxury car brand like will co-sponsor like a short film or something that has their vehicle in it, and it's usually like a very moody commercial that's very serious, and then at the very end of it they say go online to watch our short film, and it's just like, no, I'm not going to watch your short film. I might be slightly entertained by a man in his truck depending what the man and the truck is doing, but no, Porsche, I'm not going to go online and watch your short film that you paid like $10 million for David Fincher to make. I don't care.
Watch Matthew McConaughey's Cadillac commercial.
Oh, wow.
Thing online. So I think that there's always, I don't know if it's probably going to be Chevy Silverado and the dude in his truck just having the time of their lives or something like that. So I expect that. I think it's time for a return of the Budweiser Clydesdales, Mike. I don't think we've seen those in a year or two.
Yeah, usually they kind of like pair them with like a cute dog or like a pet or something like that, right? Or I think one year, didn't they do like, somebody did like a very serious take on like supporting immigration in America. I don't even remember what brand that was, so I guess that was a waste of money to try to align yourself with what I personally believe is a noble cause. So like, I don't remember what brand it was, but wasn't it I do remember the actor though, wasn't it like John Cena? Wasn't he the guy that was narrating?
I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't remember what the brand was, but who knows, maybe it could have been Budweiser.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna have a lot of Budweiser commercials. But the Clydesdales deserve their return. They also use our machines, Mike. I will tell you that right now at work. We have photos with them. Those are big horses. They're fucking huge. Yeah.
Well, I can piggyback off of this one as well. I'm predicting some sort of like new alcoholic invention, or relatively new. So there'll either be like a big ad for like White Claw, or like maybe even like an alcoholic kombucha or something like that. Is it
the Budweiser seltzers? Are we going to predict the Budweiser seltzers are going to have commercials?
Who knows? It could be White Claw just because they're the most popular, so they might want to get into might want to stay on top of the game, or it could be somebody new entering the marketplace. But even though White Claw was really popular last summer, and I'm sure it'll stick around for a while, it's not really the new hotness. So I'm trying to think of what's the weirdest alcoholic thing I've seen lately, and there's like alcoholic kombucha, which I know kombucha is like fermented whatever the hell it is, so technically it does have a little bit of alcohol in it, but now you can actually get like kombucha with like high alcohol per volume, so it's like an actual like party drink. So who knows, maybe you might see kombucha for the first time in the Super Bowl.
Gonna get tore up on that, Mike, being healthy and getting drunk at the same time. I think we are also in the purveyance of smart devices, and Alexa is going to be in some commercial doing some crazy shit that she doesn't actually do in real life. They're just using her for it. Like, I don't know, is she flying a plane, or is she, milking cows? I don't know. What is Alexa going to be doing this year, Mike?
Yeah, wasn't she like in a car? Like they had a bunch of commercials at some point in time where like some famous football player and I think a famous country star were like in a garage, like, oh, Alexa's on my dashboard now. I don't know if that was Super Bowl.
It wasn't Super Bowl. Last summer they came out with the in-car, the Apple CarPlay versions of Alexas.
Okay.
I thought that was the guy who does the voiceover for Lemony Snicket, David Puddy and Seinfeld. Either way. But yeah, I think we're gonna get an Alexa commercial for sure. Amazon's got that money to drop in there for Alexas.
Yeah. But speaking of technology, I'm guessing that there's going to be some sort of Quibi or maybe another streaming service, like a fringe streaming service, like going all in on a commercial. Like maybe it's Peacock, maybe it's Quibi, maybe HBO Max comes out with a commercial.
It's epics. They're just doing the piggy again.
Just like somebody trying to get their name out there and compete. Quibi probably has the best angle on it, just because you can actually show something on the screen. You can show somebody holding their phone, turning it, and getting another view of what they're watching. So, Quibi's launching pretty soon. So, that's my Silicon Valley hedging my bets there.
All right. Well, in that note, since we're talking Silicon Valley and something that needs to be popular, I'm thinking we're going to get one commercial with no minimum 3 celebrities in it, like a very big, like
star-studded commercial.
Yeah, the product isn't the focus; it's these celebrities is all you're going to be talking about. 3 of them minimum in one commercial, possibly more.
All right. Well, I mean, that's happened before. You were just talking about Alexa. Alexa did have a commercial a few years ago where it was like a literal party, and Alexa was there and surrounded like by a bunch of like A-list celebrities. So who knows? You might get both of those in off of one bullet point there.
Knock on wood.
But speaking of celebrities, circling back around to my Black Widow guess is, I think you mentioned that, so I don't fully have this credit over this idea, but sooner or later we're going to get a reveal of Taskmaster's face, because he has that face shield on. And we might both agree, I don't know, I'll see what you think, but I think that's going to be a celebrity reveal, because why hide the face unless it's somebody well-known? So maybe we'll see an iconic celebrity when he takes that mask off.
You need that, oh shit, I need to tell everybody about this moment in that commercial, right? If you're doing Super Bowl, that'll be it.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was Pedro Pascal?
Oh my
He's
God.
just always the guy behind the mask.
He's always the guy behind the mask now. It's not even him. They actually just got his face. They've 3D mapped it onto somebody else the whole time. In that point, I'm going to go the other way, and we are going to see these stupid commercials about Juul pods and e-cigarettes killing you.
All right,
we're going to
that
see
could be
some.
possible.
We've talked about people doing the I guess advocating for commercials, and while we are not a smoking household, you do what you want. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but we will probably see some paid for by the ad companies of America that Juul pods will kill you, and they'll try to make it seem funny, but it's not at the same time.
Yeah, and everyone will ignore it because it's one of those bummer commercials. Like, there's always a bummer commercial that you're just like, oh man, that really ripped my heart out. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, the bummers. But I think, speaking of bummers, I think somebody's going to try to make some sort of like bipartisan politics comedy commercial where somebody's gonna poke fun at like, oh, both sides are just as bad as each other, and we should all just drink a Pepsi and ignore our whole country sinking into the abyss of whatever is coming in November. So and I imagine it's just gonna be an awful commercial, similar to that Pepsi commercial where, what was it? One of the Kardashians was just like, this Pepsi will fix everything. Man,
I keep thinking of that Steve Carell commercial from last year with Cardi B and somebody else in the restaurant.
Yeah. So maybe we could also roll into a prediction of just a socially detached Pepsi. Just the company, it just does not understand what the world needs right now.
Pepsi has turned their hat around. They've pulled that chair backwards, and they're sitting down like, hey, kids, we're cool too. Yeah. Honestly, the commercial I think we're going to see the most is it's tax time, and then they're going to try to combine it with like an insurance ad. So use your tax return for Mayhem like me kind of dude.
You're talking like the crossover event, a branded crossover event.
Well, it wouldn't even say like, I'm not thinking like TurboTax, but like, you're getting like, hey, with that tax refund, you should spend it on insurance.
I see what you're saying. Now, speaking of tax time, I don't know all of the details, but I think like the Supreme Court just ruled on something that said the U.S. government can finally make its own online tax portal, because I think for a while the tax industry was lobbying against it because they wanted you to go to them. So I could see a gigantic TurboTax ad trying to remind people, no, don't go use that government website that they build next year. Keep using ours. So, and speaking of just like taxes and all that stuff, we're probably going to get like some commercial for a bank. I feel like there's always a bank that has a lot of money that's just trying to remind you that, they're not the worst things in the world. So just stay tuned for a really underwhelming commercial about a bank or like a financial
mortgage lenders.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just going to roll your eyes and be like, next one, please. Those are the type of commercials that sink into people's brain, and then they go like, man, the commercials are never funny anymore. Yeah. That's usually the culprit.
A lot of swinging and a lot of missing here, that's for sure. I just added one bullet point to mine. I always forget that they're going to do GoDaddy commercials, and for the longest time you're like, what the hell is GoDaddy selling? Is it race cars? Are they selling Danica Patrick? Is it sexy women eating cheeseburgers on cars? I don't know what they're selling. They sell websites and hosting, but it's going to be a GoDaddy commercial that doesn't say buy your website. It's going to be something completely different. I guarantee you that one of those, Mike.
Well, I don't think I have anything to roll off of that one. Which one? Oh, yeah, Monster.com. I feel like a Monster is always at the Super Bowl, and I keep hearing about hiring sites. I feel like every other podcast I listen to, like a ZipRecruiter or a Monster, is sponsoring them. So I could see some sort of hiring site trying to get into the mix, trying to convince you to quit whatever job you have and go find another one that, you know, suits your personality more. So look out for those big corporate boring commercials. Like, I don't know, sometimes Monster ones can kind of be funny, but it's like a flip of a coin.
Right. Name a Monster commercial you remember in the Super Bowl.
The only thing I ever remember is like the mascot, like the actual monster. I don't really ever remember what it does.
Exactly. They don't either. I want you to read your big one here in the middle of your list, Mike, because I've got a comment on this one.
Okay, well, before I get to that one, I'll lump it together with my other. I have like two food-related predictions. One, there's obviously always a Mountain Dew and Doritos commercial, and my theory, which I'm pretty sure holds true 99% of the time, you're only going to see some dudes in it, just bro dudes, because that's all they're trying to market Doritos and Mountain Dew to.
Actually, my comment goes for both of these. So the only commercial I've accidentally seen was Doritos related, so I'm not going to say anything else. You can go on to your next one.
Yeah, but it's always just dudes. And the second one, I mean, this one was trending on Twitter earlier this week, which was bizarre, which was Rest in Peace, Mr. Peanut. They produced... Now, this is one of the few times where releasing your trailer ahead of time works, because this is like the preamble, and we're going to get the resolution on Sunday. So apparently Mr. Peanut died like trying to save his friends while careening off of a cliff in a vehicle. So his friends escape. I think they might have been celebrities.
I'm pretty sure it was Wesley Snipes. One of them was Wesley Snipes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't remember, but the humans make it out alive. Mr. Peanut careens off a cliff, and the last thing we see is is it the Peanut Mobile? Is that what he's driving?
Yeah, they're driving it, and then his limb breaks and he falls, and like, oh, we can save him, and then the car blows up. Yeah,
explodes. So obviously Mr. Peanut's not dead. I believe he is still alive, and out of the explosion, this is an advertisement for a roasted Peanut. And, you know, maybe they want to get fun with it. Maybe it changes his personality, because he's always been kind of like a hoity-toity monocle type guy. So maybe like the accident will have changed him, and I don't know, maybe he'll be funny now, or he'll be radical. He's going to go
from Monopoly guy to like fucking Macho Man Randy Savage Slim Jim kind of Peanut.
Yeah, or like X Games skateboard. It would be so stupid, but like, I'm surprised I'm this invested in Mr. Peanut.
Man, this is advertising on another level with this Mr. Peanut thing, because ain't nobody care about Mr. Peanut in years. All right, that first and foremost. The only thing I can remember seeing in the store with him on it is cheese balls right now. Planters cheese balls.
Yep, cheese balls.
So it's wild that this is even hitting the zeitgeist, but man, I gotta know what happened to Mr. Peanut. What's the next? Is it a son? Is he cloned even? I don't know. What's next?
I mean, even the hashtag on Twitter had its own custom emoji, like when you're promoting like a movie out there. So props to making peanuts a thing again.
Yeah, especially with so many allergies around the world.
Yes, exactly.
All right, wrap it up, Mike. Tell us your last ones here.
Wrap it up. Last two that I think are a little bit more related to the show that we do here every single week. So we mentioned Fast 9 earlier. I think this trailer will finally confirm space in some way. Everyone's been saying it. Well, the only thing they can do now is go to space. So I don't know if we'll see like a hint to it, like a rocket launch, or like NASA will be involved in some way. But I feel like they're finally going to space, and all of the Twitter reactions are going to be what we all expect. Oh, I knew it. They finally did it. All right, let's go. Like this franchise is crazy. So I think we'll finally get space confirmation, and the Super Bowl's the place to do it.
Do you not? I mean, did they not do spacesuits in Hobbs and Shaw?
Did they do spacesuits? I wouldn't be surprised if one of these Fast and Furious movies has done like a helio jump. I think that's what they call it.
Oh yeah,
where you just skydive from where you skydive from like very, very, very high up, for where you basically need a spacesuit. But yeah, I think it's about time they go to space. If they don't do it this movie, I mean, you got to do it in Fast 10, right? If you've made it to 10 movies, they're going there eventually.
Jason X was in space. for those, Friday the 13th movies. I tell you what, you got a point here. Do the helio jumps, race you to the earth. First one there wins.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we got something going here, so stay tuned for that. And my last one. This has only ever happened one time before.
You stole this from me because I was gonna write it down. I'm like,
oh, you did?
I did. I wrote it down, and I'm like, they're not gonna do this, and then I deleted it.
I'll let you take it, Chris. Go ahead.
That's fine. So, Netflix dropped the Cloverfield Paradox, 2 year ago, 3 years ago?
Right after the Super Bowl.
The first trailer, no one knew this movie was made. They debuted it during the Super Bowl, and then you could watch it immediately on Netflix. One of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. But, do the streaming services have the balls to do this again? Any of them, not just Netflix. Could Disney Plus drop something?
I like the idea you floated earlier of New Mutants possibly dropping on a trailer. What if they didn't drop a trailer? What if they freaking dropped the movie on Disney Plus? That would be pretty shocking. That would be pretty exciting. But yeah, it's some sort of surprise. Here you go. Here is content fully formed that you can enjoy. Maybe it won't be like a movie. Maybe it could be like an album from an artist. That wouldn't excite me too much. But we know Beyonce has done it before. So the dark horse prediction is a mystery drop.
A bonus Witcher episode right out of nowhere.
Ooh, that would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we made this. You didn't know about it. We filmed it with the rest of them, but you thought it was just cut scenes. No, it's a full episode. Here you go. Or that show Dracula or whatever that's on Netflix right now that everyone's up in arms about. So I don't know. Well, I agree. I think, can they do it again, or was the Cloverfield Paradox literally the only time they could ever do that and get people to watch that movie, and we won't fall for it again?
Or are you listening to this after Sunday and you're just trying to figure out, oh, they're so wrong. Why are they even talking? Why'd they record this episode?
Oh, God, we are.
Yeah. All I have to say is just I'm glad you're listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. I'm going to try to put this up tonight, so maybe you're listening to it on Friday before the Super Bowl, and you're just excited to be hearing this and thinking about all these things, and maybe you got ideas. If you got ideas before Sunday, you got to send them to us. But to send them to us, you got to follow us every week, Mike. And how can they follow you to start with?
Well, they can follow me at Mike Royer Design. You can see my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram. That's the other one. I was like, what's that other social media account that I'm on? But Chris, if people want to catch up with you, see how your air fryer's going, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Valdan, Valdan, or Instagram, Valdan87. You can also head over to Comic UI. Again, I'm exactly a month away from C2E2. So excited for so many people to be there. It's going to be a party time. We've got super fans going, Mike. We've got regular listeners going. Every listener's a super fan in my book. So everyone's a super fan. I'm going to see you there. We're going to have a good time. Mike, if people want to send us their ideas and suggestions for the Super Bowl, or just yell at us how wrong we are on Monday, despite us being several days early, where can they do that at?
All you got to do is visit superheroslate.com, and you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you love to listen to podcasts. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. Like Chris said, we love hearing from you. If you got any must-have Super Bowl snacks, send them in, and maybe we'll make them if we got room in our tum-tums on Sunday. And stay tuned. If you're a super fan, what super fans really do, if you want to be a super fan of the show, is stay tuned and come back on Sunday and join us as we revisit all of the things that we watched during the Super Bowl. And also normal news, just normal superhero entertainment news happens the week before the Super Bowl, and we'll be talking about that too.
Yes, we will. I think it's been a pretty good week. We've been talking about a lot in our group chat, so hopefully we can keep that momentum going on the show on Sunday. So we will catch you after the Super Bowl. May your best team win.
All right, bye everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm here for.
Oh, an occasional zinger, I know.